Hello and welcome to today's video, and I want to introduce you to an old friend of mine. Now, on this channel we have, I forgot how heavy these were. We have done a number of these HR7700 clones before, but we've got this one which is badged as a multi-broadcast on the front, but it's actually badged on the back. So if you have a look at the back, it's originally from Radio Rentals. Now this one has, it still is, earned the rather affectionate and appropriate title of the Smelly Multi-Broadcast because it absolutely stinks. So what does it smell of? Well, old circuit boards is probably the best thing. It's sort of got a slight sort of chlorine type odour to it as well, which I think is the various oils and things from within the plastics in the actual machine starting to leach out. Happens sometimes with older kit like this. I'll also be perfectly honest, I am not sure if it is toxic or not, so who knows, it might be toxic for all I know, but yeah, there we go. That's why it has earned the title of the Smelly Multi-Broadcast. Now I haven't powered it up for a while, so I don't know if it even works, but let's get it powered on, have a look and see what needs doing to it. So, as you're probably aware, it is a JVC HR7700 clone, and it would appear under the multi-broadcast, Baird, Ferguson, DER brands for Thorn, and I have one down there. Also appeared as a Nordmend version, which looked more like the JVC 7700. This one has actually got a different front finish to the JVC because the metal flap on the front actually goes all the way up rather than just covering this bottom part here, which it does on the other versions. It is a mono deck with Dolby noise reduction, and at the time it was, for 1980-81, the most complicated, high-featured consumer VHS deck you could buy. Pretty special because it had a ×2 mode, which using a bucket brigade circuit would actually allow you to continue listening to your chosen video cassette, but at double speed. It has obviously a standard camera, aux and tuner functions, so it's got a built-in tuner. Also had, and this was very special, automatic tuning, which was quite unusual for the time. And well, when I say automatic, it had sweep tuning, so it had digital tuning rather than mono tuning. It also had numerous other features as well. I'm trying to see if it had an edit feature. Some of these decks have an insert/edit feature, which allows you to wind, play the tape to a certain point, zero the counter, wind back to the point that you want to insert from. Then when you press I think it's the record button, it will record from your chosen input up to the point that the counter was zeroed. So I think you press edit, counter reset, wind back, record, and then it allows you to edit. I'm not sure if this one does it, but the 3V32 and 3V31 decks that I have do allow you to do it. And also there's a newer Sony deck that I've got down here as well, which does it also. It's something that you don't tend to see on higher end decks and older decks as well. Right, so let's find a power cord. If I remember rightly, it uses a figure of 8. So here we have a figure of 8 power cord, which I'm just untangling. This one is equipped with, I think, a 3 amp fuse, so that'll be absolutely fine. Power is currently set to off. It was in the on position, but let's switch it to off. There we go, and let's plug it in. There we are, so that's plugged in. That's powered on. It appears to make welcoming noises. Let's find a cassette. So it accepts the cassette. Laces the cassette, and as you can tell from the run thing, it does seem to be running as well. Right, let's see if we can tune this telly into the video recorder. So let's find a suitable RF cable. I normally have a good selection of RF cables. Put this one here. That one is suitable. There, we want to go from RF out. To RF in on the test telly. You may be wondering, why am I not using composite? Well, this has got SCART in, so I'd need the SCART adapter, and I don't have one to hand at the moment, but the telly will accept SCART inputs if required. And have I got that? No, I don't have that plugged in yet. Where's the plug for it? There it is. There we go. So let's see if we've actually got this tuned in already. So I'll just aim up to the telly. There we are. VCR seems to be playing quite happily. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 is close. Oh, an Alante. So that is a Cadillac Alante. And the Cadillac Alante was boasted as having the longest production line in the world, because the production line, if I remember rightly, started in America with the engine, transmission and mechanicals, went over to Pininfarina's factory in Italy, where it was mated with the body shell, and I think it went back to the US for trim and then eventual sale. So this is the picture that the Multi-Broadcast is producing, and it's really rather good. It's very good indeed, actually. Let's just put the volume on.
You like jewelry? Oh, fuck you. I prefer blinds.
So if I press the X2 mode, and I can adjust the tracking on the X2 mode to try and filter out some of the noise bars, which it doesn't seem to like very much. So it will work with X2 mode, but might need a bit more use first. Let's see. So going to X2 again. But as you can tell, the sound works. The reproduction of it is obviously completely analog. There's no digital processing to make this happen, sound-wise. Pretty impressive, if you ask me. Then back to play. You've also got pause with frame advance, I think. Unless that is, yeah, that frame advance. But you also have a slow mode, which you adjust using these buttons. So slow, frame by frame. And then gradually faster. And there is, on the tracking, there is a slow and still tracking where you can set it to auto, or you can try and tune out some of the noise. In fact, right on the bottom does seem to work, but probably the most stable, albeit with noise, is on auto. You can if I go all the way forward. Yeah, too much noise there. Relatively stable with noise, and no noise, well, limited noise but unstable picture. So auto, probably the best one. And then back to play. You've also got, obviously, 7x speed search, both forward and back. And on the whole, it's performing pretty well, to be honest with you. And how does it smell? That's the big question. Not terrible. Has been a lot worse than that in the past. But it's doing exactly what I would hope it would do, so it does seem to be working pretty well, actually. So there is actually nothing that we need to do with this deck. So rewind is working. Let's try fast forward. Also working as well. Really, this just needs using, so I'll probably introduce it into the cycle of video recorders that I've got at some point, along with the Nordmend, the ITT and a few others that I've got. Couple of problems rewinding, I think. You can probably tell with that high pitch screeching noise that it's probably slipping slightly, but it's doing everything it needs to do. If I do eject, tape comes out, no problems at all. There's absolutely nothing wrong with this. Now, let's move on to a deck which does have some problems that we need to address. And that, just power this off, is a 3V29. Where's the power switch gone? There it is. Now it's the 3V29 that you've seen previously, and it is one that has been serviced, but I think there is a servo problem. So let's get this multi-broadcast out the way, because this multi-broadcast is working well. And let's have a look at 3V29s. I'll just turn that off so we don't get the flicker on the screen. So, out with this one. Okay. Yeah, back on its shelf. And in with the 29. So the 29 was the base model. I think the model number was JVC HR7700, I want to say. There was no rental version of the 3V29. You only got the consumer version, this one. There was a rental version of the 3V30, the 8930, and there was also a rental only 8940, which is a stereo deck, top loading stereo deck. And I explained why in a previous video, why there were no non-rental Ferguson 8940 equivalents, or I guess it may have been called something like, I don't know, the 3V. You had the 30, 31, 32. It could have been, I don't know, something weird like the 3V40. Or they may have even redone the model number and you would have had the long play deck as the 3V33. So let's get this tuned in. And let's get this powered on. And let's put the telly back on. Kind of close. Let's put on the test signal. Just do it on channel 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, let's do auto tuning. And I'll just set the shutter speed a second. So the shutter speed needs to be 50. There we go. Still a bit flickery. Let's do a bit of fine tuning. Probably the wrong direction. Let's go back. There you go. And store. Now, something I didn't realise. This Amstrad, I always thought internally was an Orion. Turns out it may actually be a Samsung. Albeit with a cheaper tube. So the Philips tube would probably fit quite nicely in that and produce some pretty good results. So let's see if this works. I've just bunged in a cassette. So immediately, nothing. Now, what do you think that might be? So there's one way to tell. If I turn this off and then back on, you should get a flash from the video lamp. But on this, so if I turn this off and then turn it on again, you should get a flash from the video lamp, and there is no flash from the video lamp. So that tells me that we've probably got, first off, a problem with the video lamp. So we'll need to get the cover off and have a look at that lamp. I do have a selection of spares, so I don't think we're going to have too many problems. So we'll just get this off. There we go. There we are, that's the top. And then we've got these, so there should be 5 of these, though that one's missing. It's pretty much the same deal as all of the other decks of this style. So the 3V30s, the 89, 40s, 30s, etc. There we go. So here's your video lamp, and this one looks original. So that just plugs into this little board here, which makes replacing it all the easier. So let's have a look and let's find a spare 1 second. And here we go. Spare video lamps. So what we'll do is, there's a single screw on there which we need to undo, and I'll actually get in on the action, whoops, so you can see what I'm up to. Whoops, that's the wrong one. There we go. That's better. Perfect. So, this one, like so. Then what we need to do is unplug at this end. And to do that, just literally come up like that, unplug, and the excess is wrapped around this conveniently located pole, posty thing. And then we come under here, there's a little cutout in that post, and out. And all you need to do is just pull that out the body, and yeah, that does look like it's blown. Put that down there. And now we'll grab out one of the new ones. Now, you might be thinking, oh, you can just throw this away now. Well, actually what it's best to do with this is to chop the bulb off and keep this bit of wire, because you can put another bulb on there, just solder the bulb onto the end. That's all it needs. The reason I've got these pre-made ones is because I bought a load of them from stock that was soon going to be extinct. Domberg may still have some, but last time I checked they were running quite low on their various VCR spares, which is a shame because they were sort of my go-to for quite a few years. So, back in with this. There's only one way that this will go in. It's not that way. It's this way. There we go. There's little hooks under there that you can hook the cable onto on the actual plastic itself, so that just hooks in there like so. Then we come underneath pinch roller and capstan. Then we hook in under here down the bottom. There we go. There we go. And we'll do a couple of loops around here. And then plug in here. And we also have this, just hook into there. There we go. And there. And there you go, that's that. So that can just go in another time there. Not sure if you'll get a third. Let's see. No, that might be asking a bit much for it. But we can come in there. There we go. That tucks down out the way. There. There we are. So, let's power this back on. And let's see if this works. Maybe I've just turned it off. Hang on a minute. Alright. Okay, that's on now. So power on. There you go, little flash of light. And no rotation there. So that might be pinch roller. Or that might actually be more likely the take up. Let's see if we can get it into life. Let's try that. Oh, here it comes. There we are. So that is very likely a dirty rubber down there. So what I'll try to do is give it a fast forward and rewind. There you go. That does look a bit brutal, I know, hitting it like that, but sometimes that's actually enough to get it going. So to exercise it, because I have serviced this before, I'm going to let it wind fully forward and then wind it fully back, and that's usually enough sometimes to clean the rubber itself. So that's going forward at the moment. And you want to do it to the full length of the tape, so that you've actually got full direction of travel. So you've actually got, at the moment, the heaviest load would be on this spool. The lightest load will be on the one that doesn't have much tape on. But as you lose tape in this spool, and you get tape on this spool, the heaviest load will be on this one. So that's where most of the driving effort will be. I mean, at the moment, yeah, most of the driving effort is on this one because you are fast forwarding. Now you can tell the pinch roller was working because you were getting tape going into the machine. So the take-up spool was not taking up that slack of tape, but because the pinch roller is obviously gripping and pulling the tape through, it means that that side of things is working. But you need to have your take-up spool also working, otherwise you'll get tape salad in the machine, which is highly irritating and can damage your much-loved cassettes. So here we go, let's get rid of that and get rid of that. There we go. So I've just taken that bulb off, and I can now put the cable back into my spares box, and at some point get another bulb and solder that onto the end of the cable. There we go. So that's winding at the moment. Now I'd be interested to see if it actually plays now. It's been winding for a bit, so let's do that. Let's hit play. So give that a bit of help, like so. Yeah, I think that still needs a bit of further assistance. So that's still not 100% right, so let's try and exercise it like this. And exercise it with the rewind search as well. Might need a bit of further help. I'm not sure if I've got any rollers for this. Something else I've noticed is the tape coming out of there is a bit uneven. Whoops, that's why you never do that whilst it's turned on. Let's have a look at this a second. Let's see if these are adjustable. So yeah, these are adjustable. So what I might be able to do is gently adjust the position of the tape carriage so that it's more central on the spools. So that is up there. Back on that side a bit. That's better, that's not flapping about as much now. And what about this one? No, that one needs to be pressed forward a bit like that. There we go, that's actually coming out and going a lot more evenly. So that probably still needs a little bit of work, but that seems to be better-ish. Oh, right, let's try my least favourite method of trying to get the life back into this, and that is rubber renew, which is disgusting, but it does seem to sometimes work. So let's zoom out a little bit. And let's see what we can do with it. So, oh, hang on. That's not happy at all. Oh, that's not happy at all either. Oh, that's really unhappy. Alright, there we are. That's better. So, what we'll do is power this off. And let's take the deck out, or the tape cradle rather. There we go. There we go. And there we are. Let's give this a dose of Rubber Renew. So, I have some suitable, very small cotton bud type things to be able to do this. I just need to find, there they are. So I've got these that you would normally use when touching up car paintwork, but let's see if they do a reasonable job with this. So Rubber Renew. I'll open the window. Actually, it should be okay, so I'm not going to use too much of this. Oh dear, that seems to have dried slightly inside and become this weird sort of gunky thing. I don't even know if that will work anymore, but it seems to be going on okay. God, it smells awful. Really does smell truly disgusting. But by all accounts it is good for rubber idlers and such like. Go. There we go. Right, let's see if that makes a difference. There we go, fresh air. Right, so let's put the tape cradle back in. There we go. There we are, it's back in. So what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to do this visually by having these centre holes on the tape cradle to have an equal amount of space around the spools, which should put the tape in about the correct position. There we go. There we are. That's that one. That one. This one. And there. So let's put this back on. There we go. It's a bit grippier to start. Yeah, that's still not 100% on playback, is it? Pinch roller's definitely working. Right, let's rewind it fully. And we can give this another go. So let's just put the telly back on. Hang on a minute, I thought I'd tune that in. Evidently not. Well, it should hopefully pick some. Do you know why? It might be because I have this unplugged. It still doesn't seem to be tuned in anyway. Right, that's tuning at the moment. Alright, that seems to be a little bit better. Let's just fine tune this. There we are. And store 6. That's why it wasn't working, because I didn't store it previously. So if we go back up to the telly, let's just give that shutter a bit of adjustment down to 50. There we go. tracking is on the central position at the moment, but there is noise on there. Right, let's try winding it back again. So we're getting very close with this, but it doesn't seem to want to spool the tape. So let's see if I've got a spare thing anywhere. I've got this one, but I think that might be an old one. So I've got this, but I think that might be an older one. However, we can give it a go, and I'm going to try the roughing up the rubber technique. I might try the roughing up the rubber technique with the one that's in there first. Alright, let's give this a go first. So let's whip this out of the way. Currently off. There we go. So we'll start with this one. I'm not 100% convinced this works, but given there are not many spares for these available, although you might be able to actually get these idler rings. It's just you'd have to measure them, which I've done previously. That's that one. Do this one. There we go. Let's do this one. Let's do this one. I'm not convinced. About something. I'm beginning to wonder if it's actually this one that does the take up for playback. Yeah, that's what I'm beginning to wonder, because yeah, it is, you know. I've got completely the wrong end of the stick. So that's there. That rotates. And this should rotate also, like so. But what is this connected to? That's not currently connected to anything, or is it? Let's try something. Let's put this back on. And I'll come over and show you what I was looking at. So, I think I was barking up the wrong tree as regards what actually governs take up for playback. So take up for playback I think is governed by this one here. And that one is driven off of here, I think. Like that. But the question is, what is this one driven off of? And I think it's something under there. So let's just try something. So there should be a switch on the deck which will tell it if the tape is in. There. Right, let's try and simulate playback. Yes, that should be rotating. That isn't rotating. So, what causes that to rotate? It'll be something underneath, I think. Right, let's get these screws out. Here we go. There we go. Nearly there. There we are. So we've got a single board under here. These blue ones hold it in place. There we go. Okay. Aha, there you go. So it's driven off the capstan. There it is. So I just need another belt. So it's going to be a little square belt we need to put on. Just need to find a suitably sized square belt. That one might be too big, but we will soon see. So to get to it, just need to take this off the capstan. This is powered directly off the capstan flywheel. That's right, that's gone through to the other side. So it's actually gone straight through to the underside, or the table underneath. And that one's left there. There it is. Leave that there for the moment. Check this out, so onto there. Yeah, that one's too long, so we'll need a shorter square belt. There. There, that should do the job. Perfect. And perfect. I had a feeling I was getting that wrong. I make this mistake quite often with these decks, thinking that the drive for playback actually comes off that large idler. That large idler is actually responsible for fast forward and rewind, and rewind and fast forward search. It doesn't seem to have any play when it comes to playback, because the playback one is going to be governed by this one, because it's geared to go at a similar speed as the capstan, which would make sense because you've got to have the capstan, pinch roller and take-up spool in some kind of synchronization. Otherwise you could be pulling in the tape too tightly, which you don't want. Oh, this is fun. Let's get some needle nose pliers. Here we go. There we are. That should be. There we are. That's in. Or going in, rather. And where's the other one? There. There's the other screw. Always fun. Right. There we go. That's that one. And almost this one. Perfect. All right. Back with that. In with that. Right. Over we go. So I'm not going to put the base on just yet. What I am going to do is trick playback again. So to trick playback, what I'm doing is turning it on, pressing this button here, which is detects the tapes in, and then covering one of the tape sensors, and then hitting play. Let's fast forward, rewind, sorry. Oh yeah, you need to do both of them, otherwise it thinks that it's reached the end, so it'll try rewinding. There we go. For some reason it's still not making contact. That's weird. It is rotating though now. Alright, let's put the cradle in. Put the tape in and let's see what it does. There you go. So that's playing now, as you can see. Right. Now I thought this had servo problems. Let's see if it does. Right, so channel 6, auto tuning. There we go. No too far auto tune. Back on fine tune a little touch. There we go. Well, there doesn't seem to be any problems so far as I can see yet. Let's do that again. Oh, excuse the language.
This pig and his cock friends broke my ribs, my leg, and my jaw. You broke that jaw?
You deserved it.
Why did you do that?
Why?
Yeah, why?
I was having a bad day.
Like now?
Like now!
So let's rewind that. Does seem to be playing back. Some of those picture issues might be down to dirty heads. Let's go from the beginning, we can see. But that's performing a lot better. It's also rewinding a lot better as well. Do you know, I thought I had serviced this one before and replaced that very belt, but maybe I haven't. There we go, let's get that screwed back in. There we go, so that's centralised. That's rewinding a lot faster as well, actually, so that's certainly done something. Right, let's hit play, see how she goes. Take-up spool's definitely working. Now, this is an issue, and I think I might know what this is. So I'm going to focus on the screen. I think I'm on the right shutter speed. So you'll see at the bottom of the screen there's a noise bar, and actually at the top of the screen as well, and I cannot dial out said noise bar with the tracking control in either direction. So because that's at the bottom of the screen, that suggests that this post may not be correctly adjusted. There's also the possibility that this post, the entry level post, may not be adjusted properly as well. So the post, for that left hand post, top half of the picture, right hand post, bottom half of the picture. So just realised I'm trying to do that with a bloody magnetic tipped screwdriver. That's a really stupid idea. You don't do it with that. So that's dialed out the bottom one slightly. It's definitely dialed out the bottom. That's the top. That's the top.
Thanks, over.
I think that's dialed out the top as well. So that is tracking on centre, tracking far left, tracking far right. That. Tracking centre. Yeah, centre. That's pretty much there. A little bit of noise there. I'll just correct that. Like so. There you go. Perfect. And once again, like the 8923 or 3V23, that's actually producing a really steady, pleasant picture. I think I might just touch that one down a bit that way. That's better because it was losing definition on the sound slightly. Yeah, about there should do it.
You like jewelry?
Fast forward search on this isn't fantastic, neither is rewind search, but it's nowhere near as a refined circuitry or mechanism as the 8923 rental. And what's pause like? Pause is surprisingly acceptable actually. Doesn't have any frame advance, as you would expect, because this is a very low-end deck, but not bad at all. That's actually performing brilliantly now. Now, I came into this thinking that this 3V29 had a load of servo problems, but no, it doesn't. The problem may have been that belt was on its way out last time, and I neglected to check it, but that's performing really well, actually. That's doing a bloody fantastic job. Yeah, really pleased with that. So, today we've had a look at the multi-broadcast and found that that's working. We've also had a look at this 3V29. We've done a little bit of work on the 3V29 and we've discovered that it seems to be working rather well. So, that is going to be it for today. I would like to thank you very much for taking the time to watch. If you have found this interesting, don't forget to hit the like button, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you again very soon. Take care, and thanks for watching.